Hello, welcome back to the continuation of our special edition. As we've all earlier started, this is the case in the High Court involving Yankuba Touré, a former junta member and of course one-time local government minister during the Yaya Jammeh's regime. And here at the High Court, his was involved in the murder of Usman Koro Sise in the High Court, and we were expecting to hear from the court today, but our colleague Amadou Kante is in Banjul right now at the High Court in Banjul. We will link him straight to tell us what really transpired during the court proceedings. Amadou, what is the mood on the ground?
Well, thank you very much, Julde, and I'm right here at the High Court in Banjul. Well, the mood here at the High Court is very, normal and usual. Not much is happening here in terms of probably what many would have expected today, because as you mentioned earlier on, Yankuba Touré, the former junta member, was of course expected to be heard today in the courts here. And of course, the latest or the development is the matter has been adjourned to the 16th, 17th, or 18th of June by the High Courts today, because the no case filed by the Defense Counsel has been dismissed by the court. So basically, that's the latest with regards to Yankuba Touré hearing today at the High Courts.
Interesting. Who else attended the court proceedings today at the High Court?
Well, it has been a very low, attendance. Not many people were here to witness the proceedings here today. Of course, Yankuba came in, walked him escorted by the security officers as usual, and of course he was very, looking very, shall I say, happy, not happy, but he was smiling all over, looking very confident as usual. Waving to his, some of the sympathizers. Of course, I have seen some people here in the APRC colors, and of course, you may want to believe that there might be APRC supporters who are here to sympathize with Yankuba Touré as he was today. Hopefully, hoping that things would go as him and his lawyer expected, but the court decided to dismiss, of course, the no case appeal, which was filed in by his lawyer. So not many people were present here today. As I said, it was a very low, of course, business that happened here today at the courts.
Interesting. Did you spot any government official on the ground?
Not at all. Of course, I probably, knowing that this is a state affairs, the state, I have a case against Yankuba Touré that he is, of course, he is responsible for the murder of the former finance minister of the then AFPRC regime. Of course, then probably when I might have expected that one of the government officials would be here. Of course, after he failed to testify before the TRRC, eventually he was arrested and then charge of murder for the killing of Koro Sise. So there was no, physical presence of any government officials or any member of the TRRC today here at the courts. It was just the High Court members and, of course, the Defense Counsel and, of course, the prosecution also side were also here to, witness the proceedings of today's court. So it was not a long process to say, the judge has to, remind of course, the lawyers of the initial consultations and hearings that were, argued by the lawyers from both sides. And then eventually he made the final decision that was taken by the High Court in terms of the no case file that was filed by Yankuba Touré's lawyer, that is lawyer Abdullahi Sissoho. So eventually, the case has been adjourned to the different dates, by the way, like I said, on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of June. So I know, like I said, especially the sympathizers who are here, of course, showing solidarity with Yankuba Touré, they will be now looking forward to the next possible dates, when the hearing would, of course, resume or continue again, and then, we will know what's going to happen. But as far as today's hearings is concerned, not much happened today. Of course, the courts have come to the conclusion that Yankuba Touré and his lawyers, or the defense counsel rather, have a case to answer with regards to the charges against him on the, alleged killings of Koro Sise, the former finance minister under the then AFPRC, leadership or regime.
So aside from the no case to answer submission done by the defense counsel, what more can you tell us that the court really dealt with this morning?
Well, knowing that now the court says that, of course, the defense counsel has a case to answer. I assume that they would go back and also prepare very well and come and, of course, counter the arguments or some of the allegations that were, put forward, or should I say evidences that are put forward by the state defense counsel. And because, there were 9 witnesses there that were called or brought by the state counsel. And of course, after all that, the lawyer of Yankuba said, they were not, of course, evidential enough for the court to make any ruling. So in that case, hence now they have decided to file a case appeal, and that the court felt that is, baseless, and they refuted that file and dismissed that the case. That means they would go back and prepare and come back to the courts and defend their case as well to prove that Yankuba has no case to answer in this regard. But as and until then, I don't think much would happen, because I know both sides here would continue their consultations and, of course, do thorough investigation into the matter. And of course, especially the defense counsel, they have to do a whole lot of work, I believe, so that they would come back to the court and convince the court that, as they have said from the initial point, that the accused person in this case is Yankuba Touré, that he has no case to answer. And as and until then, I think, we would, or should I say Gambians would continue to wait to the, stipulated date as at when the courts will resume to follow these case or the hearings here at the high courts.
Thank you so much, Amadou, for that explicit explanation. As of now, all we know that is the court is adjourned till on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of June 2020, and the court dismissed the no case submission filed by the defense counsel. Thank you so much, Amadou, for that explicit explanation.
All right. Thank you very much, Julde.
Thank you. That was our very own Amadou Kante live at the Banjul High Court there on the Yankuba Touray'S trial involving the death of Ousmane Koro Cisse. That was really interesting. Apparently, the court adjourned this the sittings till 16, 17, and 18th of this month, and one thing that really that they were able to do this morning is that they dismissed the no case submission there, which was filed there by the defense counsel.
Yeah, this is the procedure, and in fact it was very short and precise. That we discussed earlier on, that this is a court procedure. So normally in many high-profile cases you have these kinds of application coming, because even no matter what the number of witnesses or evidences before the court, it is a trial. The defense have would barely have anything to lose from having it there and then losing it. The point is the fact that Yankuba Touré is before the court and there to answer charges of murder. The defense counsel should is there to do their job, that is to prove his innocence as alleged. So, yeah, had it has gone in the interest of Yankuba by now, he would have been a free person. But, and then looking at the images when he was coming to court, Yankuba is feeling so free. He is like greeting with his people and then
happy and
looking
optimistic.
Yeah, optimistic that he was going to be a free man today. Like his lawyer said last week that this week will mark his 53rd, birthday. Yeah. So where, he would have celebrated his birthday outside. But then that is when you have proven beyond all reasonable doubts that you are an innocent person. But it is a continuation of trial that is going to happen now. And Yankuba, looking at the security behind him, so the security is still not taking chances that he's a former soldier. Once a soldier, always a soldier. So he's facing very serious crimes that the security also with that kind of, tactical, escort is noticeable. You see him also in his white haftan, very neat, so not looking like a prisoner because the case is yet to finish. So today, what it means now, from the 16th, 17th, and 18th, now the court is taking this as a matter of urgency to have the case, complete, go on, let the Gambian know the truth, because this is a very serious, and it is the first of its kind that somebody is put on trial about the death of, Koro Sise, who is considered very innocent for having served as Secretary of State for Finance. So to have died in the manner in which it is being explained over and over, it's something that Gambians would waiting to hear the justice. Not also withstanding the fact that also if Yankuba, as according to his defense counsel, is claiming that he's innocent, it's now time for them to prove it, because now after 9 witnesses from the state council, so it is his turn, the defense turn, to bring whatever they have to say that Yankuba is innocent. That's the page through which the trial will be undergoing, and it is a matter of, like we said, days, weeks, months.
Yeah. So does that mean the defense counsel had a lot of work to do, responding to all the witnesses that came forward to testify?
It's a lot of work.
Hence, because now the no case submission has been dismissed by the High Court.
So the allegations are very many and varies, because looking at the kind of people who testified against Yankuba includes his drivers, people he used to spend a lot of time together. Others are medical office, bodyguards and medical officers. So now it is his challenge. But we know always people who live together knows each other. So what they say, the public have heard that, but it is now the turn of Yankuba and his defense to respond. So what will they say? Will they able to surmount the allegations? Will they able to just neutralize, or will they fall short? So whatever they do will have a meaning in the decision by the court, because if they surmount them, that means eventually Yankuba could be free. But if they just neutralize, that would be a very difficult case. There might be a second round needed then for something like, if that is applicable. But this is not a football game. It is a legal case where, truth, only the truth will cancel a truth. So truth must be superseding in this case. But if a situation arises where the defense counsel is not able to respond to all the allegations, which the court believes now Yankuba has a case to answer, that means he will be declared guilty, and that is about matter of time for the public to know about that. But these are all possibilities on the side of the court. But looking at the case also, Ahmad would tell you that the state ministers don't have to go there, because they feel they have the right representation. The council is there to do the job. So all they need to do, like iAfrica is covering, is to sit by and then watch the proceedings. Journalists are there. But our reporters were earlier on told to go in, otherwise they would lose chance of having a seat, as the case of such cases, at the High Court is always, overcrowded. But today, like Ahmad said, it was a low key. Yeah.
Proceeding. That was very, very interesting there. So does that mean that apparently Yankuba Toure will have to spend his 53rd birthday in a prison cell?
Yeah, so that is the situation now, and Yankuba should have been prepared for that. So these are, people who are ready to face the challenge, the junta members, we call them, right? The former president, Yahya Jammeh, wherever he is, he have been always saying that, okay, it is our job, we face it. So, and the committee of soldiers, who came up with the change of government in 1994, are hardliners, we must call them, looking at the allegations and the reports around them. So they will never feel so much, weak to, do what they think that is, a destiny for them. Soldiers, you either die easy or die hardly. So, but this is the transformation has happened now with regards to the detention centers in this country. So the kind of respect, and it is unlike Jammeh time, looking at how Yankuba was escorted to the courts. You see him feeling free and then hugging with people, shaking hands. So it means that he is communicating to the public. That alone is a signal showing that, the prison is well managed, and there are signs that, it is well managed now. It was unlike Jammeh. Even a civilian, you could be cuffed or be taken and thrown in trucks we did not see all that. So this was more of a light one, and then moderate way. Look, you can see, you know, him, you know, the security is not that much tight. There is space, and, you know, even though he have some space within among the security members to, you know, walk freely and then shake hand or wave the public that he think are there for to show solidarity or to observe his case. So whatever the case is, you know, he is feeling free. So that's it. So it will be a continuation of his time in remand, we call it, you know. So it's not like what the TRS is saying, that he has a warrant to be there. So whoever is to admit him in the prisons is just for a matter of the court case. And then this is not the sentence yet, because the case is not, you know, decided upon. And that you can see the van is pretty, you know, sizable for the number of security officials who are accompanying him. And the PIU is rightly in front of the situation. Oh, even there is spacing. Look at the sitting arrangement.
Seems
I mean,
like
so
WHO guidelines have been observed here.
yeah, there is some coronavirus preventive measures there, you know, we notice.
That is interesting. Well, it's like that really brings us to the end of today's special edition. Well, you just reminded that was the High Court in Banjul, where Yankuba Touré was expected today for the court to rule, you know, as to whether the submission of the case of no submission, which was filed by the defense counsel, but the case apparently ruled dismissed that, and said that there is actually Yankuba Touré has a case to answer, and then the case is adjourned to 16th, 17th and 18th of this month. We hope we look forward to the case on the 16th, 17th and 18th of this month. I know that it's going to be very, very interesting, because both the prosecution and then the defense counsel will go back and then prepare very well for the next battle at the High Court in Banjul. Till then, I am Julenya Suare. With me here is Ibrahim Presba, the senior editor and correspondent of iAfrica TV, and bye-bye till we come your way next time. Bye-bye.